Tomek, welcome.
Welcome.
Can you give a short introduction of yourself?
Hello, my name is Tomek Rudzki. I'm a head of R&D at Walney, and also I'm co-founder of ZipTieDev, which is a project helping you to understand and fix your indexing issues.
And I think your talk today was a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, my talk was about some serious SEO mistakes. I call it SEO sabotage.
And what are the most important ones that you talked about?
I mean, there are many mistakes you can make, and the SEO job is to ensure that your website is just free of things like that. I mean, I don't want to go into details because it is what the talk is about. Yeah, but the main one is that you look at the website through your eyes, like the user, but you don't look at the website as a Googlebot. So Googlebot is following different path, and you can even know what Google is doing on your website and what content it gets. Because sometimes it's like totally different path in the case of dynamic rendering and things like that.
Yeah, I think rendering is a big part of when Google sees something else.
Yes, that makes a huge impact, especially when you don't do it right.
Exactly. And do you have any tips for people who are listening and who use JavaScript for their websites?
I mean, JavaScript is risky. I don't want to go into history of SEO, yeah, but in the past times, it was difficult to get JavaScript content indexed. Now it's much better, but now you have to follow the best JavaScript SEO tips. Like you have to ensure that you don't rely on user actions like click on the button. And during my presentation, I showed some examples when it failed and Google was not able to see the content.
And do you look a lot at the technique or the output of which you think Google is seeing the same thing?
Can you repeat the question?
So do you look at the rendered version of the page to see if the output that Google sees is good enough? Or do you look at the technique itself and then try to predict that it might go wrong?
Like, we can do both. I mean, first, when you want to implement a new website, then you have to predict. But then once it's published, you have some tools like Google Search Console, and then checking indexed version of the page, how it's look like, what's the output of Google search. So we can do mix of these things. So you have to ensure that Google can, I would say, understand and render your content. This is the first step. And then you have to ensure that Google really does. I mean, you can have the fastest car available, so it can drive like 300 kilometers per hour, 400. But it's about can. It's about possibility, but it doesn't go like full speed all the time. Yeah. So this is the possibility and the reality. Exactly. So in reality, you can see a lot of pages not indexed, a lot of pages not fully indexed. Here is where JavaScript comes into play.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
What is the biggest takeaway people should remember after your talk?
I mean, there is no like huge mistake, one to rule them all. I mean, every website can fall in a different way.
Maybe the takeaway is that you can make so many mistakes that you should always test and do the two things you just mentioned. Look in front at the JavaScript that people are using and then at the rendered version that Google is seeing.
So in my presentation, I showed like 5 steps to the SEO hell. So that was like the first step, second, and then what kind of mistakes you can do. But I believe that the main thing that could make it better or worse is to check on the website through Google's eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see, okay, it's beautiful, it's fast, but you have to get the data about how Googlebot crawls and renders your website.
And I think you also wrote an ebook. Is that about the same topic?
Yeah. So guys, I mean, I'm very excited about the project, and I finished it yesterday. It was yesterday when I released the ebook. It's called the SEO playbook, theseoplaybook.com, and all the people who attended the conference
And who are listening?
Yeah, and who are, of course, and who are listening can get a discount. So the discount code is FOS, and also you can use Friends of Search. So you will get $10 discount.
All right, nice.
So the ebook is about things you can do to improve your SEO. It's not about fast gains that, okay, you do that one thing and then you got like a 300% increase, but it's intended for people who want to join and do the SEO way, like who want to go through the whole path and see which parts they miss and which parts they improve.
All right.
So it's about the SEO way, I would say.
All right, thanks a lot.